All right, so you're on the journey, and now we're at the book 1 Corinthians. And let me tell you a little bit about this book. 1 Corinthians was written by the Apostle Paul. He was in Ephesus, which is modern-day Turkey, when he wrote this book, and it was written about AD 55. The reason why he wrote this book is because two groups from a church in Corinth, which is in Greece, came to him while he was in Ephesus, telling him about some major issues going down at their church. And Paul decides to write the church about these issues. Now, this is actually not the first letter he wrote to the Corinthians. We don't know where that is. It's lost, gone. We've never found it. So this letter is actually the second letter that he wrote to them. But he addresses some major issues that are going on. And I'm talking major. First of all, sexual immorality was out of control. People are having sex with whoever they want. There's incest going on. A lot of the church were involved in ritual prostitution to the god Aphrodite. So, I mean, it was like massively out of control. So he addresses the sexual issues and talks into that. Everyone was suing each other. There were lawsuits all over the church. So he addresses that. Everyone was divided, and people were forming different factions and causing division in the church and all this kind of stuff. So he addresses that. And they also, when it came to the Lord's Supper, communion, well, they kind of treated that like Golden Corral and made it kind of a drunken feast kind of thing. So he also addresses that. This church basically was unwilling to let go of the culture around them. They basically said, look, let's just do church. Let's just say we're Christians, but let's kind of stop there and kind of keep doing what we were doing. They also were all about spiritual gifts, but Paul addresses the issue of spiritual gifts with them and says that, look, if you practice spiritual gifts without real love, they're useless. And he talks a lot about that. In fact, 1 Corinthians contains the famous passage about love, love is kind, love is patient, that you hear at weddings so much. But you'll read that and you'll find out what he's actually talking about a little bit later. They had questions about the resurrection. Some believed in the resurrection, some didn't, and he addresses those questions as well. Basically, Corinth is what happens when church has gone wild. And Paul writes to this church and starts addressing some major issues about what happens when we're unwilling to let go of the culture around us. Enjoy the book. There's maps that will help you follow kind of where this is online at xrosechurch.net, so you can follow that. Enjoy the book, and we'll see you next time on the journey.